Hey up Internet, and welcome to On the Sofa Live. Donald Trump makes wildly inappropriate joke in front of Japanese Prime Minister that leaves everyone stunned. Sanae Takichi's event in the Oval Office was going relatively smoothly until a Japanese reporter asked him why he didn't inform US allies, including Japan, about his plan to bomb Iran. This is from the Daily Mirror by Mikey Smith, Deputy Political Editor. There's Trump with the Japanese Prime Minister. Donald Trump was met with a stunned silence after making a joke about Pearl Harbour in front of the Japanese Prime Minister. Sanae Takichi is visiting the White House today for talks with the US President. At the event in the Oval Office was going relatively smoothly until a Japanese reporter asked him why he didn't inform US allies, including Japan, about his plan to bomb Iran. One thing, you don't want to signal too much, Trump replied. We went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? He joked to some nervous laughter. But the laughter stopped abruptly when he took the joke further. Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbour? Okay, right, Trump said. And we've got some footage here.
Japan and US are very good friends. But one question, why didn't you tell US allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the...
And we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay, why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay.
Oh dear.
Right? You know, he's asking me. No, you believe in surprise, I think much more so than us. And
so we need the 25th Amendment. We need the 25th Amendment yesterday. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen until, perhaps until the midterms in November. Because he's surrounded by sycophants. He's surrounded by sycophants who just laugh at his jokes and wear shoes that are 2 sizes too big for them, and do whatever he says, basically. And he's surrounded by people who are too scared to say no to him. Because he's unpredictable. He's insane. He's got dementia, and this is the person in charge of the nuclear codes. He started this war without telling anyone. It's an illegal war. He didn't get approval from Congress. He didn't get a UN resolution. It's an illegal war. He didn't tell any of his allies. He's been insulting his allies all this time, and now he expects them to come to his aid. And now he's just insulted the Japanese Prime Minister, and the whole of Japan as a nation. He needs to be stopped. I really hope that the Republicans get wiped out when it comes to the midterms, and so that the Democrats can try for impeachment or the 25th Amendment He needs to be taken out of office. The article goes on. Japan's surprise attack on the United States Pacific Fleet at its naval base at Pearl Harbour on Oahu, Hawaii, in December 1941 pulled the US into World War II. Declaring war against Japan the following day, US President Franklin D. Roosevelt famously labeled December the 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. To a suddenly silent room, Trump went on. He's asking me, no, you believe in surprise much more than us. And we had to surprise them. And that's what we did. During the meeting, Takaichi, Keir Starmer, and the leaders of 5 other nations issued a joint statement condemning in the strongest terms Iranian attacks on shipping and oil and gas facilities, as well as the de facto closure of the Strait of Hormuz. The Prime Minister and the leaders of France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, and Japan said, "We express our deep concern about the escalating conflict. We call on Iran to cease immediately its threats, laying of mines, drone and missile attacks, and other attempts to block the strait to commercial shipping, and to comply with UN Security Council Resolution 2817. So, and I think that's another reason why he made this inappropriate joke in front of the Japanese Prime Minister, because he's pissed off that Japan signed this statement. He's angry that Japan was one of the countries that didn't come to his aid when he pleaded for help. He's a whiny nappy baby. He's a toddler. We have a toddler in the White House. It's embarrassing. Resolution 2817, approved on March the 11th, condemned Iran's attacks on its neighbors and called on Tehran to cease hostilities. The leaders also expressed their readiness to contribute to appropriate efforts to reopen the strait and take other steps to stabilize energy markets. Earlier, Trump said he had urged Netanyahu not to launch last night's attack on the Iranian part of the world's largest gas field. Asked if he'd spoken to the Israeli Prime Minister about the attack, Trump said, "Yeah, I did. I told him, don't do that." Trump continued, and he won't do that. But he added, we're independent. We get along great. It's coordinated. But on occasion, he'll do something. And if I don't like it, and so we're not doing that anymore. The Pentagon is signaling that it needs an additional $200 billion for the war with Iran, but the president said Thursday that his administration also needs it for other reasons. This is a very volatile world, Trump said from the Oval Office. He said the emergency spending, which would need congressional approval, would be a very small price to pay to ensure the nation's military stays in top shape. A very small price to pay. Bitch, you started this war. You started this war because Israel wanted you to. You thought it was going to be over in a couple of days. You thought it was going to be like Venezuela. You thought it was going to be fun. But you've bitten off more than you can chew. And now you're asking for another $200 billion. And meanwhile, American citizens are suffering. They're suffering oil price, gas prices going up, skyrocketing, their groceries skyrocketing, and also here in the UK, petrol prices are going up, our groceries are going up, the cost of living is increasing, and not to mention the fact that hundreds of Iranians are being killed. U.S. military personnel have died. Have tragically died because of you maniac. And acid rain is falling from the sky. It's crazy. All because of your ego, or because you're desperately trying to distract everyone from the Epstein files. The article goes on. Asked about the possibility of deploying US ground troops in Iran, Trump said, "No, I'm not putting troops anywhere." Yes, sure. We'll believe anything you say, Mr. Trump. Because you never lie. God's sake. Yeah, there'll be troops on the ground. I'm sure of it. It's only a matter of time now. Then he said he could deploy military forces wherever he wants, and he wouldn't tell reporters about his plans. He's a maniac. He's a fucking maniac. Honestly, this motherfucker, Jesus Christ. At the beginning of the event, Takagi told Trump that Japan had opposed Iran's development of its nuclear program and appealed to his desire to be seen as a peacemaker, despite launching a war of choice with Iran by telling him through an interpreter, "Even against that backdrop, I firmly believe that it is only you, Donald, who can achieve peace across the world." Oh, Gordon Bennett. This is the situation that other world leaders find themselves in. They find themselves having to stroke his ego in case he does some other crazy shit, because he's insane. He's unpredictable. He's put the other leaders of the world in a horribly difficult situation. It's terrible. I'd hate to be one of the leaders of one of the other world leaders, in this point in time. What a terrible situation to be in. The article goes on. She said Japan condemns Iran's actions during the war, including attacking neighboring Gulf countries and effectively closing the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's development of nuclear weapons must never be allowed, she said, speaking through an interpreter. That is why we, Japan, have been urging them and also reaching out to other partners in the world. Takagi said she brought a specific proposal to the White House on Thursday to calm down the global energy markets. The agenda of Takagi's meeting had shifted in the wake of the Iran war. The meeting at the White House, followed by a dinner later tonight, was supposed to give Japan's new Prime Minister a prime opportunity to have Trump's ear before he embarked on a trip to China. But now, the war in Iran and Trump's unsuccessful call for Japan and other nations to help protect the vital Strait of Hormuz means the China trip has been delayed. Trump had repeatedly complained on camera and online that US allies, including Japan, rejected his request to help safeguard the critical waterway for oil and gas transport. You motherfucker, you've been insulting these other leaders all this time, and now you expect them to help you in the war that you started. Son of a bitch. You maniac. You fucking megalomaniac. You're fucking insane. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Honestly, what a piece of shit. I'm lost for words. I don't know what else to say about this. He's insane. He's got dementia, and who knows what he's going to do next? I mean, he's talking about Cuba being next, for God's sake. This is a really messed up situation, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse.